Hey everyone, and today we've got some huge Final Fantasy VII Rebirth news and leaks, so let's get straight into it.
Lockhart QT.
And it goes without saying that if you don't want spoilers, now's your chance to leave. The source for these leaks is a user by the name of I Am a Hero 2 from Resetera, who has been a reliable leaker before and has since posted the information. They have fully deleted their account, and no official confirmation of any of the leaks in this video have been made official yet by Square Enix. So getting on with the leaks. Firstly, we have the bold statement that FF7 Rebirth kisses goodbye to the original story of Final Fantasy VII. This is a bold statement indeed, as the departure of the main story in Final Fantasy VII Remake was decisive for a lot of fans, to say the least. Personally, I'd like a new story told, or, a new story with some of the old elements returning, like the main story beats actually returning. As if I wanted the old story sort of word for word, line for line, I'd just go and play the original Final Fantasy VII in my opinion, which I often do all the time. It sounds to me though like we're getting a new story told, whilst also having lots of callbacks to the original, because we also got the statement in the leaks of Rebirth will venture into a new direction with the callbacks to the original that will be less meta than Final Fantasy VII Remake. This for me and a lot of fans was the biggest issue with Final Fantasy VII Remake. Don't get me wrong, Final Fantasy VII Remake was an amazing title and it's actually one of my favourite Final Fantasy games, but it was straight up too meta in some areas, like with all the stuff about fate and forging their own destinies and having to defy fate. It was a bit too on the nose in my opinion, and bordered on Kingdom Hearts level of writing, which, as you know, Tetsuya Nomura likes to write, I guess, a really cringy writing sometimes.
Say fellas, did somebody mention the door to darkness?
Next up, we have Zack will be playable for a large portion of the game. This we kind of already could guess, or at least get, an educated guess at, because it seems as though we're going to be at least seeing Zack in his new timeline, and we already got teasers for this within Remake's ending, the end credits scene, as well as in Crisis Core Reunion, and we also got obviously in the trailer we get hints in the timeline that Zack's in now. The original cast have all completely died, as we get that scene with the news with all of them being thrown into the vans at the beginning of the game, but again we're going to have to wait and see even more. Speaking of Crisis Core Reunion though, Zack is already modelled and fully animated, which should make pulling it all over to Final Fantasy VII Rebirth that much easier. Also, we have loads of the locations from Final Fantasy VII already textured and modelled in Crisis Core Reunion, some of them that we already know are coming back for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, so we should be seeing some more famous locales such as Costa del Sol, Calm, and loads more. Next up is the fact that Final Fantasy VII Rebirth features big open zones to explore, but smaller than those featured in Final Fantasy XVI, and Square Enix have only shown a tiny bit so far. This is great, as I feel like this will address the open world concerns people actually have. You see, if you haven't played it, the original Final Fantasy VII after Midgar was fully open world with a full world map you could explore, allowing you to explore each area by travelling to them. Big open areas will now address how the party get from Calm to the rest of the locales within the world of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. But hopefully we'll also see the return of the more wacky vehicles and traversal methods from the original game used to traverse the open map. Next up is the combat system is sublime and the best in the series so far. This again we kind of could already take an educated guess at it being. Final Fantasy VII's combat system in my opinion was already great, with combining a load of turn-based elements such as magic and materia with more hack and slash action by dodging at the right time, parrying and things like that. Pair that up with the new party team attacks we've seen in the trailer, as well as new characters who might be joining us in the party such as maybe Kate, Sif and Sid, and we'll have to wait and see how wacky this combat system gets, and I think there's a lot more they haven't shown yet. Lastly, we have the fact that the game will release in January of 2024. I feel like this was to get the game polished and not rushed out, but should also get the game to stand out from an already stacked 2023, which games like The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom as well as Final Fantasy 16 have already released, as well as Resident Evil 4 and Dead Space and loads more games. Honestly, 2023 has been absolutely stacked so far, and it would be weird also to have two major Final Fantasy games releasing really close to each other, being obviously 16 and 7 Rebirth. This will hopefully give both games a little more breathing room and allow Final Fantasy 16 some more holiday sales later down the line in October, November, December. But again, I think we will get more sales of Final Fantasy 16 once people, the hype train for 7 Rebirth gets closer and closer and closer. And lastly, this isn't on the leaks, this is just me talking now, but I really do think that we'll see the game at the Tokyo Game Show, which is in September, and I do think we'll get sort of a bit more gameplay, perhaps like a boss fight or something. Again, we'll have to wait and see, but I'm really excited. So tell me in the comments below, what do you guys think of all these leaks? So far, for me at least, the game sounds great, and I'm just really excited to see what they do with the story, the characters, Zack's timeline, as well as all the returning features and locations. Anyway guys, for more Final Fantasy 7 content as well as Final Fantasy content in general, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like the video. Thank you so much for watching, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.